It's the end of an era. This weekend marks the last chance for you to earn gold points on digital games and such off the eShop. Nintendo announced it last month that at 9:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on March 24th, 2025, that it would be the end of gold points as we know it for right now. So basically, you got 24 hours left, at least from the release of this video, to get gold points from digital goods from the eShop. This is the last call, so why not earn a few more gold points through some games that are deeply discounted. I got a list of games in today's video that are super discounted, and given the fact that a lot of these games are just a few bucks each, you're most likely to get the most in savings here, as opposed to buying more expensive games that will likely have a chance to be discounted more down the line. Plus, you might get a game or two free with the gold points you got saved here. The Messenger is a solid, retro-inspired action platformer that has you playing as a young ninja who is tasked with a mission that he must complete in order for his clan to survive. Initially, the game starts off as a pretty linear, straightforward game, but eventually, it'll transition into a full-blown Metroidvania experience, as you're tasked with revisiting prior levels and exploring them in more detail. The game's humor and various nods to classic 8-bit and 16-bit games from yesteryear, as well as spot-on gameplay, are highlights. And it's a pretty fun game with lots of variety to the stages to keep you engaged. At 80% off, it gets a double thumbs up from me. Ape Out has you playing as a gorilla while trying to escape through a maze from gun-wielding humans. You'll need to smash, as well as grab the humans, use them as a shield, throw them, and more, all to reach a goal without being killed. The game is a fun take on the beat-em-up genre, and it's filled with publisher Devolver Digital's trademark level of violence too, as you can pretty much tell from the gameplay shown here. It's super cheap right now, at its biggest discount ever, of 87% off, which makes it the perfect game to pick up on a whim. You'll be pleasantly surprised with this one if you pick it up. The Talos Principle is an award-winning first-person puzzle adventure game that has you playing as an AI who has been placed in a simulation of humanity's ruins. Players are tasked with solving over 120 puzzles that can be found within the game's world. If you love solving puzzles and brain teasers, then this is a game that you simply should check out. It's got a ton, and some of them will really put your brain to the test. It's on sale at its biggest discount ever, 87% off currently on the eShop. Yoku's Island Express is a unique game that combines Metroidvania gameplay elements with pinball. Yeah, it's a crazy mix, but it works. We need to explore, find upgrades, battle enemies, and bosses, all by using pinball mechanics. This is a great hidden gem that's very cheap on the eShop. It's 80% off currently. Gato Roboto is a 2D Metroidvania that has you playing as a cat in a mech on a quest to save its captain. Don't let this one fool you though. Ridiculous plot concept and black and white visuals aside, this is actually a really fun mini Metroidvania that is totally worth it given its tiny price tag. A game that's perfect for an afternoon or two, and it's sweet from start to finish, with plenty of shooting and platforming action. For those looking for a chill or a relaxing game on the cheap, you consider picking up a game called Alba, a wildlife adventure. It's an open world game where you explore an island while also trying to assist and save the wildlife on it. The game is all about exploring at your own pace while searching every corner of the island to see what you can find. The game won a lot of praise about its message about nature as well as for its gameplay. If you like the Pokemon Snap games, or just like cozy games in general, I think you'll like this one. It's currently on sale on the eShop for 85% off. The Swords of Ditto, Mormo's Curse, is a top-down action RPG where players take control of a randomly generated hero, and you're tasked with defeating an enemy known as Mormo within a certain amount of time. You need to explore, find items, and defeat loads of enemies each time as you set about your mission. This game has a little bit of Zelda vibes here, mixed with a bit of Cartoon Network style animation. It is pretty fun though, and it's really enjoyable in couch co-op too. It's on sale for its biggest discount ever, 87% off. Boomerang X is a first-person slasher, I guess. I mean, unlike having a gun, this time around, you'll have a boomerang. You'll need to slash and chuck it through hordes of enemies. What really makes this game stand out is all the tricks and acrobatics you can perform with using the boomerangs, and you'll need to master those tricks in order to zip and bounce around those 3D stages. If you like boomer shooters, or you're looking for something that stands out a bit, or is a bit unique from the rest, then check out Boomerang X. Plus it's super cheap right now in the eShop. It's discounted to 90% off the first time ever. Broforce is a side-scrolling, run-and-gun platformer that has you playing as one of these several quote-unquote bros, which many of them are parodies of famous fictional characters. And as them, you'll need to save the bros' teammates and other POWs while blasting anyone who stands in your way. One of the neat aspects of this game is the destructible environments, the explosions and bombs and gunfire that can destroy many of the game's buildings and environments. This game has received many content updates and expansions over the years, which has added a slew of playable characters and missions, so there's a lot to enjoy here. The game also has local and online multiplayer support for up to 4 players. This is a blast to play, and I highly recommend it at its current discounted price. It's on sale for 87% off until April 3rd. Nintendo recently released Mario's Picross for the Game Boy app, a game that's filled to the brim with nonogram puzzles. Now if you're already blown through that, and you're hungry for more, well the good news is, there's a ton of these games available for the Switch, most from the same developer of that game, Jupiter, who worked on Nintendo's Picross games, like Mario Picross, Pokemon Picross, and the Zelda Picross game. For a limited time, all their games seem to be on sale for 30% off, which means for some of these games, it marks a brand new low price for them on the eShop. If you're looking for some good suggestions, the Picross S6 through 9 series is really good. It has the most features for that line, and Picross S Genesis and Master System Edition and the Namco Legendary Edition are 2 great themed versions of Picross as well. Aracde Paradise has become one of my favorite indie games on the Switch. Maybe it's because I get to live out my dream of running an arcade. This game has you playing as a young man named Ashley, who is given a task of running his father's laundromat business. Soon, he discovers some arcade games in the back room of the business. Next thing you know, he's attempting to make the arcade of his dreams. As Ashley, you're going to need to gather up coin and funds as best you can through managing the laundromat and the arcade. You're going to need to clean up after your patrons, do laundry, and manage and play arcade games. There's over 35 retro-inspired arcade games included, and they are all playable, with their own goals to achieve and such. Along the way, you'll discover a few surprises, as well as the meaning behind Ashley's personal quest. This game's got plenty of heart behind the scenes, plenty of late 80s and 90s style, and I love the gameplay loop of managing everything, while also getting to play the games. Currently it's back on sale for the first time in a long time on the eShop, and it gets a big discount too. 69% off, giggity, until March 28th. If you have some fondness for the 80s, 90s arcade scene, then do yourself a favor and check this out. Bring back some feels from that time period. While I'm talking about some indie games, I do want to give a quick shout out to the super cheap Steamworld games on sale. Steamworld Dig and its sequel, Steamworld Dig 2, are games that are a bit Metroidvania-like in nature and have you digging through a mine in a quest for resources and treasure, while also avoiding traps and dealing with enemies, while also progressing each game's story. The games have a good gameplay loop, and along the way you'll gain upgrades and more to help you get further in your digging adventures. The first one is a good game, a classic. The second one is considered to be one of the best games in the franchise, and it's super enjoyable from start to finish. The first one is 80% off, and the sequel is 90% off on the North American eShops. Steamworld Quest Hand of Gilgamesh is a bit different, as this is a role-playing card game. You play as a bunch of heroes and battle your way using cards from a crafted deck. If you like games like Slay the Spire, then you'll like this one. It's a pretty cool game and a good use of the Steamworld franchise, with some good gameplay and some nice hand-drawn visuals. It's currently 90% off, another excellent pickup in the eShop without breaking the bank. Them's Fighting Herds is a weird fighting game. At first glance, it looks like My Little Pony's art style, got masked up with Street Fighter gameplay. And well, it is kinda like that, but it also looks like a goofy, silly game. And, well, it is in a way. But that all said, this actually has ended up being a big indie fighting game hit. It gets some really good solid reviews going for it, with praise towards its combat system and gameplay, its smooth cartoon animations, voice acting, and overall polish, as well as the content within and the fact that it has rollback netcode. There's a full story mode in the game, filled with challenges and minigames to boot, multiplayer for both local and online, full training and tutorial modes, and more. It's an insane game that might have started out as a joke, but has ended up being a pretty polished experience. It's on sale for 90% off, which makes it dirt cheap to get if you want to pick this up for the Switch. Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair is a fantastic platformer for the Switch, whose gameplay is in the style of the Donkey Kong Country games, with some 3D platformer segments thrown in as well between the stages. It's a challenging yet fun game that has some excellent level design, along with some great gameplay mechanics involving Yooka and Laylee working together. On top of that, it's a gorgeous looking platformer for the system, running at 60 FPS. It's back on sale for 90% off on the eShops, and if you've yet to pick this up for the Switch, then consider this the time to make it a point to do so. It is a worthy addition to your Switch library, and it's super cheap to get. Andro Dunos II is a retro-style shooter and a modern sequel to the hidden gem Neo Geo arcade game. The gameplay in this one is much improved this time around, allowing players to start out with 4 different weapons that they can switch to on the fly, all of which can be upgraded through power-ups that they can obtain from enemies, and at the end of stages, if they score well. Each weapon in the game has its use, depending on the situation, so in order to succeed, you're going to need to learn when to use each weapon, as well as spread out your upgrades too. It's a shoot 'em up that forces the player to get comfortable using all the weapons and experimenting to find what works when. It's got some great shoot 'em up gameplay, fun bosses to face, it's a gem, and a must play for fans of the shoot 'em up genre. It's currently on sale for 90% off on the eShop, making it super cheap to get too. It's a no-brainer. Bzz, yes, like the sound, is a precision platformer that has ended up being one of the best in its class. Intuitive and precise controls, expert level design, and plenty of challenge awaits you in this one. What's great about this game though, is the game doesn't just cater to the hardcore crowd. I mean, there is plenty of difficulty here to find if you are of that crowd, but beyond that, there's plenty of levels and stuff here for the casuals too. So if you're a beginner to the genre, there's stuff here for you to enjoy too. I love that, for including stuff for both parties, which, let's be fair, most precision platformers tend to only cater to the hardcore, and tend to exclude a lot of other players. In addition to all that, there's time challenges, online leaderboards, and an optional permadeath mode for those who want an extreme challenge. You sadist you. It's a great platformer, has been reviewed very well, and the PC version holds a 91 on Metacritic, and the Switch version is largely the same game, so you're pretty much guaranteed a great game here. It's on sale currently for 65% off, which is the lowest price it's ever been on the eShop by far. In Anarcute, evil corporations have taken over. They have taken control of the media, police, cities, basically everything. And the cute creatures that populate the world have had enough. It's time to riot and take back control. This game has you controlling a crowd of people, with the aim to make it a bigger crowd, so you can run over objects and all those who oppose you. If the crowd is big enough, you can even take down buildings. You have to watch out for the bad guys though, as they will use traps, vehicles, lasers, and more to try to stop you and trim down the crowd. It's a game that has a little bit of Katamari vibes going on with it, making the crowd bigger and all to run over things. If you like games kind of like that, ones that are a bit puzzle-like, with some action and a bit of strategy to them, then I think you will have a blast with this one. It's certainly a unique game. It's on sale for 80% off, currently on the eShop. For just a few bucks, I think it's most definitely worth it. Pompom is a platformer that has you tasked laying down blocks, springs, vines, and more, so Pompom, the hamster in this game, can reach the end of a level. Yes, in this one, you do not control Pompom directly, so you better choose carefully in how you place stuffs, or else this little hamster, oh, he's going to die. And we don't want that now, do we? I like the unique gameplay, and the fact that the game keeps throwing new stuff at you too, to keep it feeling fresh throughout your playtime. Later levels can be pretty challenging though, so make sure to bring your patience. But hey, if old school hardstyle difficulty doesn't intimidate you, then I say check this one out. I think it's a nice game for pretty darn cheap. Also, I'm a fan of the visual style. It's Nintendo-esque in a way that makes the game look like it's straight out from the GBA era. It's on sale for 65% off, which marks a brand new low price for the game on the eShop. The Teslagrad games are some neat puzzle platformers, where the player is tasked with using magnetism and electromagnet powers to solve puzzles that explore each game's environment. The original Teslagrad has players playing as a young boy who is tasked with the powers to explore a deserted tower that's full of traps and danger. The game will test your reflexes as well as your brain power with its very tricky puzzles, and is considered to be a classic. The original game is on Switch, but I say go for the remastered version, which is also on Switch too, as it comes with upgraded visuals and quality of life changes. Teslagrad 2 expands further on the puzzle gameplay by tasking players with using those electric magnet powers in a Metroidvania style setting. In this game you play as Lumina, who must use her powers as a Teslamancer to try to return home. As players play the game, they will find and gain upgrades to their powers, take on bosses and enemies, and of course, solve many puzzles. Both games can be found for 80% off via the latest eShop sale, which means they're marked down to just $1.99 on the US eShop and $2.69 on the Canadian eShop. That's pretty darn cheap for both games. In a previous eShop video, I covered the huge Picross sale, but today I want to focus on two Picross style games that are not only indie games, but ones that have gameplay elements that you normally wouldn't see with Picross. Pixel Cross Adventure has you solving Picross / nonogram puzzles in a story-driven RPG style game. Yep, you're set off on an adventure to defeat the evil villain, while gaining EXP, leveling up, exploring, and all that, just like in a regular RPG, but you do so by solving nonogram puzzles along the way. It's a neat twist on the gameplay, and there's over 300 puzzles included. PictoQuest also combines nonograms with light RPG elements. Solve puzzles, defeat creatures and bosses, and use items to help gain an advantage. I really like the animation in this one. It's definitely a bit more colorful and animated than your typical Picross game. The gameplay is neat too, and the RPG stuff doesn't overpower the Picross puzzles. Both games are dirt cheap to get. They're 78% off each via the latest sale, which basically means each game is just a few bucks each on the eShop. The BIT.TRIP Collection Bundle for 75% off is an excellent deal for 6 games that were classics from the Wii era. They have been HD-fied here and fitted for the modern Switch audience, featuring classic style gameplay with rhythm game elements. Each game, BIT.TRIP Beat, BIT.TRIP Core, BIT.TRIP Void, BIT.TRIP Runner, BIT.TRIP Fate, and BIT.TRIP Flux are fun, yet challenging games to revisit again, or play the first time if you've never experienced these games before. 6 games for a few bucks is always a great deal. Lost Words Beyond the Page is an adventure platformer with a unique twist. In this game, you get to play as Izzy, a young girl who sets out to explore a fantasy land with her diary in tow. With that diary, players can alter the environments within the game by using words on the pages and moving them around to uncover new paths, secrets, and more, as well as solving puzzles with it. It's a pretty cool mechanic, and it's all backed with a beautiful looking experience filled with fantasy with its wonderful watercolor style look. The game is super cheap to get on Switch with a discount of 87% off, which means it's just a few bucks on the eShop. I think it's a great deal for this little gem.